everybody, One of Wiisdom here a little after 11:30 p.m. and sad but true story here. Last night we did legendary tri-tip space upgrades. We just introduced him, compared him to standard, and done a bunch of math on the statistics of leveling up and whatnot. My thoughts were, I was originally going to do ambush, and then I thought, you know what, we just introduced legendary tri-tip, let's go ahead and do his base upgrades. If you haven't seen that video, they're incredible. So then I came in and it was rendering out and the PC was very angry and it looked horrible when I tried to do ambush, and so I thought, you know what, I'll just wait it out, and I did. And it kind of lulled down a little bit and I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just do alphabetical like I do. I'm going to go into Ember. Ember didn't have enough money, so I switched over to Tae Kwon. And the plan is to possibly do the base upgrades and then advance into the pass. I'm not exactly sure what we'll do. Needless to say, I have recorded Tae Kwon's base upgrades. The problem is there were like 4 spots in the video that had really bad, glitches, if you will. It's like anytime, I think in couple of my recent videos, there's been a couple of times, and usually it just kills the render when you hit this, and that's when I know they're there, and I can sometimes edit them out. Tae Kwon had a couple I was able to edit out within the first 7 minutes, and then like around the 11-minute mark, we got into like this huge one, and anytime I even attempted to edit it out, it would then just freeze up the program, it would shut it down. Can't render it, can't do anything about it, and there's really no point in me resetting him because I can just sort of explain this to you. What's sad is you lose like the newness. I do all of this blind. So when I come in and upgrade a character and I'm like, whoa, look at the damage numbers, that's a genuine reaction. If I come in and I'm like, what is the point of this upgrade? That's a genuine reaction. It's me going through it as if you were in the room with me. In the case of this video, we're now going to lose that, and the sad thing is I've got the video, there's nothing I can do to fix it to where we can upload it, and which is why I'm having to re-record it. But, where we're going to go, aside from my squeaky chair, Tae Kwon, pretty impressive. I love his banter. Mysticat, so far, has had the punniest upgrade path names. Tae Kwon's banter is just hysterical if you take the time to listen to it. That said, his primary attack, which is Shuriken Throw, looks something like that, minus the larger size and the glowing yellow. It does 32 to 48. If you jump, it does 32 to 48. It's just kind of like an old school deal. No increase in damage. You can just either launch here or launch there. Sometimes the shurikens sail over the heads of the enemies. I assume there could potentially be portions in the game where that is advantageous. You think back to SSA, Whirlwind's lob attack proved incredibly useful in certain situations. So we'll have to see, but it is what it is. Just as 32 to 48 was the damage for the Shuriken Throw, his Flame Kick, which is his secondary attack, it also deals 32 to 48 from the kick itself. The catch is, after he kicks, or as he's kicking, a little wall of fire, an arc of fire kind of spawns, if you will, burns roughly 10 seconds. If an enemy walks into that, it will do 16 to 24 damage. So primary Shuriken Throw, it's as close to spammable as anything that we've seen in the game so far. Flame Kick, again, very cool aesthetic, and that'll burn 16 to 24 if you were an enemy here, roughly 10 seconds. And again, the kick itself, standalone, same as the primary, 32 to 48. Cool thing, and something a lot of people may overlook, if you jump and press the secondary attack button, most Skylanders, it does nothing. With Tae Kwon, you can still do the kick. It still seems to do the same 32 to 48, but it looks really cool. I'm not showing you the dummies when I do this because the numbers will not match up, because he's already received his base upgrades. So, let's come in here.
Dares rate my abilities? Although, these look pretty spot on.
Again, very witty banner there. So, 32-48 right there. 32-48, 10 seconds of flame, 16 to 24 when in the flame. That kind of surmises that for you. First upgrade, Ricochet Shot. This sadly does not ricochet off a wall. If you go back to like bouncing bullets with Trigger Happy in the lore of Skylanders, but it does bounce between enemies. So the catch is, though, while that's sort of like the selling point and the pictorial thing, if you actually read it, your shuriken throw ninja stars now deal more damage. And you're thinking, oh yeah, it's probably minuscule. Oh no, the shurikens themselves are now doing 49 to 74. Which is crazy. You know, generally when you have something like 32, and especially like a shuriken projectile type of a thing in the history of Skylands, you're typically going to go up to what, maybe 36, maybe 40. We went from 32 to 49. That's plus 17. It's nuts. I don't know why, but I am not going to be one to argue with that. Now the catch here is, say that we hit Chompy A and then it ricochets and hits Chompy B. You're not going to do that same 49. You're not even going to drop back and do 32. After it's ricocheted one time, it will do 16 to 24. I've never gotten it. I think I may have actually gotten it to bounce between multiple dummies here at the academy, but it seems to do the same 16 to 24. When you get in like a horde of enemies, smaller enemies like Chompies, maybe you could, perfect that and get it to bounce off a few more. But from what I have seen, I don't see anything higher than the 16 to 24. Now this is very interesting. If you're like, what, Buzzerbeak? What's the deal here? He was a villain you could trap too. What's the catch? Apparently, Tae Kwon and Buzzerbeak have teamed up. And it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of, when Tae Kwon does this, he sort of like does a little crow squeal or squaw or something. Summons in a Buzzerbeak. You can only have one active. If you tap Y rapidly, you're gonna spawn and despawn. As a new one comes in, the old one goes away instantly. The way this works, though, he's around for roughly 12 seconds, give or take. In my video, I'd had people critique me in Trap Team, like not when that was relevant, but like now. It's like, no, you don't count correctly. I have never claimed that my one Mississippi is accurate, okay? But what I do claim is that it's consistent. So if I tell you that it's, 5 seconds, it's going to, anything else that's in that range is going to be the same time span. I've always attempted to make that clear, but I actually, just to appease those sorts of people, I came in and used a watch last night, and when I said it was 12 seconds, I came back in and checked again on the watch in the video, and it was 12 seconds. It started at the 20-second mark, and it ended at the 32-second mark. So that said, what I prefer more than a time duration is when we can actually apply cycles of damage. Like if something's going to hit 12 times, at 5 to 8, we count off, 5, 12 times, etc. So the way Buzzerbeak works, roughly 12 seconds, but you get, each time he attacks, he does 16 to 24 damage 3 times in a row. And at this point in time, with this upgrade, our tertiary attacks beginning, he will attack 5 times. So if you're doing the math at home, you could potentially have Buzzerbeak hit an enemy 15 times at 16 to 24, which when you start doing the math on that, that is pretty crazy. So again, just thinking about it, it's 48 per cycle, 48 x 5, that's going to be what, 240? So yeah, it's not a tertiary attack to sneeze at. You would think, haha, that's cool, but it's going to be lame damage. No, not at all. So that's pretty cool. Coming up next, and I will showcase all this to you, I'm just sort of walking you through it here so you know what to look for. Ignite Shurikens. Throw ninja stars through your flame wall to increase their damage. Now the catch here, it's sort of hard to execute this at the training grounds. If you were in like a real level situation, I think it would be far easier. Case in point, I spawn the enemy in, he's not far away, and he automatically pursues me. So you kind of run into some issues there in terms of showcasing it. But the way this works, if you throw a shuriken through there, again, they've box stock 32, ricochet shot brought him up to 49. Now when you throw that same shuriken through your flame kick wall, 73 standard damage, 130 critical hit. And it took forever to actually document this, but they do increased damage on the ricochet. It was previously doing 16 to 24. As best I can tell, it is up to 24 to 36. That was very difficult to get on, film, if you will. Right here, our final base upgrade is Beak. Press B to kick your buzzer beak, enraging it to be faster and more damaging. It's kind of reminiscent of Angry Birds type vibes here. But the catch here, previously, we were doing our 3 hits of 16 to 24. We're now doing 3 hits of 22 to 33. But where Buzzer Beak would attack the same dummy 5 times, he will now attack a dummy 6 times. The catch is you've got to have 2 dummies active, because otherwise the 5th cycle of hits will kill that dummy, and then you have to come in and he would just walk around a little bit and disappear. If you have the second dummy, he will have time to walk up to him and do 3 hits, thus 6 rounds. So I've kind of walked you through it. It was way more exciting when I went through it the first time, sort of on a learning curve. Something we can do here, since we have time, and it's not in my spreadsheet, let's actually see what these paths are called. Obviously, this one's going to address the shurikens, and then down here looks to be flame kick and tertiary, so let's check it out. Shuriken Slinger. Alright, here we go. Shuriken Slinger. Master the art of the ninja star with new charge-up secret techniques. The catch with the shurikens, they're already pretty dadgum impressive. I'm wondering if... Oh, Crow Mando. I like that path name. Alright, I did not do this last night. I know why. Because I clicked over to check and make sure it wasn't like glitching out, and it was, and I frantically panicked and tried to finish the video so we could salvage it, and we couldn't. But Crow Mando, fight up close with new kicks and more crow buddies, hence Buzzer Beak. So we're going to back out of there and not commit to any of that, and I'm going to now attempt to showcase these to you as best as I can. So we come in here and we're first, I guess, going to take a look at the ricochet shot. So the biggest thing, though, isn't really the ricochet. What you saw there, the 16 on this guy, I'm going to hit this guy at 49. It'll bounce to him and do 16. See there? I wonder if I could ever trade some of these. Anyway, standard shurikens are also up 49 to 74. So we've showcased ricochet. Let's actually go ahead while we're on this topic. The Ignite Shuriken. So you can see the 16 to 24. The problem again, let me just get rid of this guy. So here's what I found last night. The best way to showcase it here. Kick, lever. See the 73s? Now, if I kick, lever, lever, and hope that they're both on that side, which they're not. You see the 24 there? That's what I'm assuming is going to be correct. It was not critical. It didn't have the exclamation. So I'm inclined to believe when the shuriken passes through the fire, it increases 49 to 73, and the ricochet subsequently will jump 1624 up to 24 to 36. So again, this is a lot easier for me efficiency-wise to do it in this manner, but again, I like to go through it blind because then you get like my genuine reaction. For example, if these upgrades sucked, I would be like way more emphatic and disappointed originally. And same thing like with legendary tri-tips, those were amazing base upgrades. And even though I could come in and reenact them, oh, I didn't know that popped up over there. That's interesting. Even though I could kind of like reenact what I had done, it's never going to be as genuine, Like when you go into Super Mario World and you fight Bowser for the first time, or you take out some difficult level on Star Road, you can't recreate the same excitement. So that's why I try to do everything blind here. That said, it is time now to take a look at Buzzer Beak. Now, sadly, when we initially bought this, he was doing 16 to 24 for 5 rounds. I can't really showcase that because it's improved, 16 to 24 up to 22 to 36 and the 6 rounds. Let me just go ahead and get, let's showcase this. I actually count 16 seconds there. I did not bother to log a time frame on Firebeak, the final base upgrade, for the simple fact I know it's 6 rounds of damage, but that would explain the differential there, from 5 to 6 rounds, 12 to 16 seconds essentially. So anyway, that's how he is summoned in. Again, right here. There's one buzzer beak. If I turn this way, this guy dissipates. Now, if I kick him, you can see now his little propeller hat, which I was cracking up about that last night, but his little propeller hat is on fire. And that is where... Actually, can I showcase that? I think we can. Okay, so he's still going to be around longer. He should kill this enemy, but I'm thinking if I don't kick him, he should still do the 16 to 22, or the 16 to 24, I think. So let's find out. Dummy, buzzer beak, check this out. Oh, he missed. There's 2, third cycle, 4th cycle, 5th cycle. Okay, 5 cycles there again. He just whiffed on the first one, but you saw 16 to 24. That's the main thing. So now I am going to just get rid of this guy, and we will. Let's get a new guy. Spawn. Kick. Alright, now watch this. You can see the 22s. And he just makes really quick work of these people. He's pretty quick on his feet, too. I'm going to pull the enemy over here. There was cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4, and he killed him. So if we would have had a tougher enemy or another one of these guys out, he would have done 2 more rounds. But overall, he's shaping up to be a pretty decent character. In part, I didn't really think his shuriken throw would wind up doing that much damage. I mean, keep in mind, box stock, it was 32. With just the base upgrades, it's 49 like this to 74 on a crit. But if you kick and then throw through it, the flaming shurikens are 73 to 130. That's a lot of damage from something that we can throw this quick. I mean, case in point, watch this. I'm going to spawn in a guy that'll land about right here. I'm going to spam the shurikens, and he's not going to even get to touch us. Crazy, right? And right here, I want to point out again, see how it just breaks on impact? It doesn't ricochet. It will only ricochet. Sadly, if I had one thing to complain about, that would probably be it. The ricochet only happens between enemies. So, that said, I think we've pretty well covered everything here as best I can. I clicked over to the video. It looks okay. This actually took longer than I thought it would, having already done it. But actually, yeah, last night I went through it, and it was like 11 minutes, or 14-ish maybe. But nonetheless, I had to kind of explain what went down. Tae Kwon Crow shaping up to be pretty good. Again, I do believe we're going to get a mystical Tae Kwon Crow, and I'm not quite sure what that would look like in hand aesthetically, so I'm not really sure which route I want to take him on the upgrade paths, but we will probably work towards doing that, getting him his path. But for now, we've got his base upgrades taken care of, and I have to say, pretty impressive. There's nothing like, oh man, you know, like super wow factor like we had with Legendary Tri-Tip. But you have to remember, when we're doing 49 a pop and I can spawn these off like that, you know, the mace is, it's actually not as slow as you would think it is, you know, especially the 1, 2, 3 hits. But I mean, this, you saw, I could just basically cripple that enemy, and he can't even move forward. So he's shaping up to be a pretty solid character. Plus, like I said, his in-game aesthetic is phenomenal, particularly his robe, and 2, his banter. Anytime and every time you go into the Skylander menu is hilarious. So, that said, let me know what you think of Tae Kwon Crow. My only real surprise is I thought his health would be a little bit higher. You know, given that it's only at 200, that's kind of like if it was undead Tae Kwon Crow numbers. I guess that's probably not a terrible start point, but I did think it'd be a little bit higher. But nonetheless, very excited to see how his paths turn out. And this is one of those things. I'm very inclined to just, if we just have one Tae Kwon Crow, what would I do? My first inclination is like, oh, keep on upgrading the shurikens. But when I stop and slow down, my logic becomes, you know, the shurikens are pretty solid right here as they stand. Maybe we'd be beneficial to take Crow Mando and kind of hit the secondary and tertiary attacks. So, we'll see what we do. Again, hopefully we can get that second Tae Kwon Crow in form of the All Deco, take it from there. But that's it. I will quit rambling. I hope you enjoyed. Let's go with hashtag Buzzerbeak for a bonus brick in the Wall of Wisdom. If you're curious about the Wall of Wisdom, it is a community build. It is an in-game shout-out for you. It's basically my way of thanking you for watching the videos and supporting them with comments, likes, retweets, all that sort of a thing. So check it out if you want to learn more. You can follow me on Twitch, follow me on Beam, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+. OneOfWisdom.com is my personal website. SkylanderClub.com is the forum. Check it out. If you like what you see there, sign up. We would love to have you join us. If you do sign up, your account isn't activated, leave me a comment here on YouTube, hit me on Twitter, and remind me to go in and activate the new account. So that's it. I will quit rambling. Let me know your thoughts on Tae Kwon Crow and his base upgrades. What path you prefer, if you've already taken them, or based off of my introduction video, if you got any ideas. And we'll take it from there. So, as always, thanks so much for watching. We will see you back here for more Skylanders Imaginators research.